The Trump administration has launched an unprecedented confrontation with Harvard University, threatening to freeze billions in federal funding and potentially revoke the university's tax-exempt status. This conflict represents a significant escalation in the administration's efforts to reshape American higher education. On April 14, 2025, Harvard University formally rejected demands from the Trump administration that it deemed unlawful and an infringement on its independence and constitutional rights. Harvard President Alan Garber stated, "The university will not surrender its independence or relinquish its constitutional rights. No government, regardless of which party is in power, should dictate what private universities can teach, whom they can admit and hire, and which areas of study and inquiry they can pursue." The administration's demands included audits of academic programs, departments, and viewpoints of students, faculty, and staff, changes to the university's governance structure and hiring practices, dismantling diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, prohibiting masks during campus protests, imposing tougher discipline on protesters, screening international students for those hostile to American values, full cooperation with the Department of Homeland Security financial implications. In response to Harvard's refusal, the Trump administration moved to freeze $2.2 billion in grants and $60 million in contracts to Harvard Review, a total of $9 billion in funding, including $256 million in direct research support and $8.7 billion in future commitments to Harvard and affiliated hospitals, including Mass General, Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and Boston Children's Hospital, threatened to revoke Harvard's tax-exempt status, potentially ban the enrollment of foreign students. Harvard's response: Harvard has taken a firm stance against the administration's demands, becoming the first major university to openly defy the Trump administration. The university's leadership argues that the government's demands exceed its lawful authority. No government should dictate what private universities can teach, whom they can admit, or what areas they can research. Harvard has assembled a legal team led by Robert Hur and William Burke, both of whom previously held positions within the Trump administration. The confrontation has already moved into the courts. The Harvard faculty chapter of the American Association of University Professors, along with the national organization, filed a lawsuit on April 12, 2025, against the Trump administration. The lawsuit seeks a temporary restraining order to prevent the administration from terminating federal funding for Harvard. The legal action claims the administration's actions violate the First Amendment and Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. This confrontation is part of a larger campaign by the Trump administration targeting elite universities. The administration has criticized numerous institutions nationwide for their handling of pro-Palestinian protests and has accused them of promoting what it describes as anti-American and anti-Semitic ideologies. Harvard's stance contrasts with that of Columbia University, which implemented significant policy reforms in March 2025, appearing to concede to similar demands from the Trump administration after facing a $400 million funding cut. Former President Barack Obama, a Harvard alumnus, has praised the university's stance, saying it set an example for other higher ed institutions, rejecting an unlawful and ham-handed attempt to stifle academic freedom. The outcome of this confrontation could have far-reaching implications for the relationship between the federal government and universities, potentially testing the limits of government power and the independence that has made U.S. universities global destinations for scholars.